How's it on?
Yep.
Oh, it's on. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talks with Jody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Hit that notification bell to stay updated with the latest content. Let's go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talking Fit with Gideon. My guest today is for many of you that don't know, Gideon is my mentor. One of the reasons why I started powerlifting, my powerlifting journey. For those who don't know, I have been a powerlifter for the past 3 years. We've started training together.
Yeah, it's at least like 3. I feel like it's more. It's like 4 years.
I feel
5 years,
like 4 or 5 years,
yeah.
But 3 good years. You know, we've been trained together, and so, yeah, strictly powerlifting, with some bodybuilding training. But we can dive into that later. Gideon, for the viewers who don't know you at home, please tell them, who are you?
Well, in a broad term, I've had quite a big sporting background. So from as little as like 3 years old, I was playing soccer in the garden, with my mom and my dad. But especially in my middle to later years, it's where I got quite invested in my sport. So I played a lot of soccer through middle school and into high school, but then slowly transitioned into swimming, and just like basic swimming, actually at Century where we train, which is quite crazy, all those years ago. But yeah, I started in, when I was about 14, and then just slowly progressed, and then went on to get West Province colours for swimming, and then so did that for 6 years. So
and then ditched the pool for the weights.
Yeah, ditched the pool for the weights.
Okay.
And then after that, when I stopped swimming, I transitioned over to CrossFit. Like I found my mom actually got me a CrossFit membership for I believe it's my 17th birthday.
Okay.
So to a local CrossFit gym in our area. So I left Century for a little bit, went there for about a year, started training CrossFit. That's where I met the Olympic lifting coach, and he was helping me, with Olympic lifting and CrossFit, and I was working alongside the CrossFit coach.
Okay.
And then that's kind of where my coaching journey kind of started.
Okay.
I was helping on the weekends with taking classes.
Oh,
at
really?
this point
17, 18.
Yeah,
Wow.
so at this point I was just about to finish school, but I was still, helping on the weekend, take the classes, even if it's as an assistant, while still getting quite involved with the CrossFit. Like I was doing like some minor competitions, whatnot.
Nice.
But really getting invested in the Olympic lifting, because there was this coach here. He was a member, but he coached me in Olympic lifting. So like for people that don't know, Olympic lifting is like the clean and jerk, the snatch, things like that. So he was just coaching me through those things while doing CrossFit. And then after that, once I kind of got to the point where I was getting kind of like, I was picking up injuries, and the CrossFit faded out a bit, but the weight training kind of stayed, because while I was swimming for all those years, we did very little to no weight training at all. So once that transitioned out, I went back to the weights, but that's when the powerlifting came in. So I kind of ditched the CrossFit style, and I went solely into like the powerlifting, but more bodybuilding in the beginning, just because I was starting out.
With weights, yes, of course.
So I was starting out, and then ever since then, weight training, like bodybuilding, and they call it power building, right?
Yes.
So like bodybuilding, powerlifting, that's kind of been like my training, schedule for the past, I'd say, 3 or 4 years, as long as we've known each other.
And then from high school, you actually studied. You actually continued your fitness journey with education-wise. So talk us through that.
So that's why I mentioned about the coaching.
Yes.
The coaching is because that's where like I kind of fell in love with it. I just
from
like
the practical side.
Just get about to finish school.
Yes.
And I was like, damn, like I mean, what am I going to study one day? I was like, and then this whole coaching thing sparked that idea of, okay, maybe I can be good at this. So like, let's try. And so the journey behind the whole coaching side of things and getting my qualifications and whatnot started in 2018.
Okay.
2018, I was at a small college in Newlands, and that's where I did my personal training certification. So just basic PT in 1 year.
Basic.
Also did my sports massage that year.
Okay.
So I did like the 2 courses alongside each other. I got that qualification, didn't work that year. So I was still at the CrossFit, but I was studying and working at the part-time at the CrossFit, not getting paid. But it was just for experience.
Yes.
So after that year was finished, I decided to not I wanted to study further, but I also wanted to work and make money with the qualification I had.
Okay.
So that's when I moved to the 2 gyms in Milnerton area. So I started at the beginning of the year at the one gym. It was very much like a boot camp, garage style gym. That's where I started for the first 3-4 months. Kind of didn't really work out because I kind of figured that I wasn't really into the group exercise. Yes. And that's kind of what they did. It was a lot of group exercise.
You
class
prefer the individual?
Yeah, individual, or at the CrossFit gym it was a lot of maybe 1-on-5 or 1-on-4.
Okay.
So
smaller groups.
Okay. So
that's when I transitioned to another gym where I actually was able to take clients like at a very, very low rate, and it was actually the gym's clients that they had sent to me. So they had a whole bunch of people and they needed to be coached. So that was like, this guy's new, whatever. So that was great experience, and I was there all the way until the end of 2019.
Okay, so for the entire year?
Entire year,
okay.
Yeah. And then 2020 came, and I enrolled in this new degree that had just been released, sports science.
Which institute?
At ETA. So in also in Newlands, but it was part of the Western Province Academy.
Okay.
So like they had just introduced this new degree program, and I met the criteria from my previous certification, so they could like slot me straight in.
Okay.
And it was going to be another 3 years.
Okay. Were you accredited or anything like that, or you just did everything? You did the full course. You weren't accredited for any subjects. You just had to do everything.
Yeah, everything. So I had the
okay.
first year, which qualified me for the second year of the degree.
Okay.
So the degree was 4 years, but I had done one.
Yeah.
So I slotted straight into year 2.
No, that's what I'm saying. So you were accredited for the first
accredited,
year.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so I got the accreditation through there, filtered into the second year, kind of met up with all these new classmates, and then that's where I was. So even through COVID, we did everything online. The whole second year was kind of online as COVID hit. But into 2021, I was like in person, like hybrid. It was like a whole thing, all the way up until last year, where I just qualified at the end of last year.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So
graduation soon.
Graduation April, just got notified.
April
actually,
2023.
Yeah, soon.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so the whole background is the personal training certification. Then I did the sports massage. Then I also did sports strength conditioning, and then it's the sports science. Okay. So like I specialize in sports specific strength and conditioning.
Okay.
And yeah, that's like kind of where the studying path has led me.
That's led you.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Look. Okay. Obviously, yeah. I've got a few things I obviously want to ask you. So I want to still dive into your background. But before we get there, I just have 2 simple questions. Like an icebreaker. I mean, we've broken the ice with your background. Yeah. But just 2 simple questions I like to start the guest off with is number 1. What is your name one goal for the week?
For this week.
For this week, yeah.
Is to try and get 6 of my training sessions in. I felt like the past...
of your personal? 6 of your personal?
Oh yeah, personal training session. Like for
not with your clients, just
not with my clients. Yeah, I just found over the past couple of weeks, like I haven't been able to meet that 6th day. Okay. It's always like turned out to be 4 or 5. Like work feeling happens.
Sluggish or just everything. Just
work life. Like just I haven't been able to prioritize my training, but I am looking to rectify that now. But for at least for this week, the goal is to get the 6 sessions in. That's something that I want to do. Small goal.
What is the external factor? Is it time management, or is it?
I think it's a mixture of just having like this new job that I just got, the new gym, just having to manage time and everything. I find that sometimes the day just runs away with me, and then when it comes time to training, the day's over. So
okay.
yeah, that's the kind of thing.
You'll get there. You'll
Yeah.
get there. And then my second question is, name one person. It could be someone old in your life, someone new that you met a week ago, but name one person that you're both grateful and thankful for, and why.
Into someone from a
general.
personal capacity.
Personal capacity.
I'd probably say my mom, just because.
Shout out to mom.
Yeah, shout out to
mom.
She's been a mentor throughout my whole life, and like every single day she's always there to help me with something. So if it's something from personal to work, even training, she
Okay,
can
wow.
help me like that.
So she has that background, that fitness background.
She doesn't have the fitness background, but she is a life coach.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
just
that's where it starts.
and just happens to have a lot of experience
Mental. That's where it starts.
with myself and my brother.
Okay.
So
nice.
she has a lot of experience like that, and I always go to her for advice on anything, really anything, and she's always
awesome.
able to help me. So I always have that feeling and that sense that I'm never stuck with anything, because I can always go
Yes,
and
of
irritate
course.
her about it, and
Yeah.
she gets frustrated because I'll ask her the same thing over and over again until
that's good.
until it's
So
trolled in.
she actually contributes to your strong mindset.
Yeah,
And
100%.
And that's where it starts, from the mind to the body.
Exactly.
Okay.
Spot on now.
Yeah, so shout out to mom. Thanks,
Shout
mom.
out to mom.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I want to, like I said, I wanted to jump back, because that also plays a big role in just everything. Is the strong mindset. But I want to just dive back, like we mentioned about, we been trained together for the past 3. I always like to say we started, not post COVID, but in between COVID, when the gyms open up.
Yeah.
I like to feel like that's where we started.
Exactly. That first time where you had to wear your mask and
yes,
kind of didn't,
that's when we actually started. But we met each other beforehand.
Yes, we knew.
lockdown.
Yeah. But that's when we started training together, like every day for weeks on end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And okay, before, I know exactly what I want to tell you.
Yeah.
Just before, I know people are probably at home wondering, hey, why are you in a slinger? Just a freak accident. It's got nothing to do with training. But I think the only negative side is that I was supposed to compete in April, so that's been put on hold. But I can guarantee you, before end of 2023, I will compete in a powerlifting competition. Anyways, back to this. So my point was why I was trying to get to the beginning of where we started our fitness journey together is solely based on my question, or my focus today with you on this episode is, how does one start their fitness journey? So what I wanted us to talk about is, so we started 2020, we started religiously, but what I wanted to get, my point was, how in general does one start their fitness journey? You, for example, like I said, I started my powerlifting journey with you. You somehow approached me. I obviously don't know what was going through your mind at the time, but you approached me before lockdown. We spoke, and then all of a sudden, lockdown, when we were allowed to start gymming again, we started training together. So my question to you is, how does one start their fitness journey?
So it really depends. You were in a fortunate position where you did have a good training background.
Yes.
You had a solid base, where most people start from absolutely zero. So
yes.
I saw when I approached you, I knew that you needed help, but I knew that we would work well together, in the sense that you could push me, I could push you,
Yes.
and it wasn't me having to coach you from the ground up.
Yes,
Like it wasn't like that. It was almost like we could form a partnership, which is what happened.
So the sporting background plays a huge role. In that sort of partnership, or building that partnership.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I could see that you had that solid base. So I wasn't going out on a whim saying, oh, this guy, like, he's new to gym, like, let me just start like being his training partner.
Yeah.
So, but getting back to your question, I think if you're taking a complete person off the street, and he wants to get into, or she wants to get into training, how does one do that? I think it's very important to make sure that you know what you want to get out of your training. That's the biggest thing. It's like, people will always say, I want to get into training, but they never know what they want to get out of it. Because the goal is always, there always needs to be an overarching goal. Always. Like, it doesn't matter what part of fitness that you want to do, if you're in a sport specific or general population or rehabilitation, whatever, you need to have an overarching goal. And then underneath that overarching goal, you have little sub goals that you can hit every week, every month. You know how we look at periodization. So similar working like that when it comes to goal setting. So, I mean, I know we can dive quite deep into like the nitty gritty and intrinsics of how we break down what is needed to start training.
Yes.
But I think the biggest thing is just show up. I think show up with a good
Most
mindset.
important,
Show up with a good mindset. Secondly, you want to look at obviously what you're wanting to achieve, and let's use, like, for example, you wanting to just build muscle, right?
Yes.
You need to have the steps in place to build the muscle, right?
Yes.
So, like, having good exercise selection, having good volume, good intensity, things like that. Nutrition is also very important.
Probably the most
important.
Yes.
Yeah, just and the thing is consistency. So when you start, you can start at an absolute the most basic program, and you're going to see astronomical results, as they call, like, newbie gains, right?
Yes.
You come in, like, the first 2 months, you see unbelievable changes in weight, like, even like in the mirror you see changes,
Yes.
if like physique is something that you're looking for. But yeah, and then slowly as you progress, you start to hit plateaus, and that's where you have to get more invested in the actual training program and changing the variables and whatnot. But I think the biggest thing is, as well as staying with the exercise selection, is making sure that your form is up to scratch. And I know that you know how I go on about form, and we can have a whole conversation about that. But I think the whole thing about form over weight and like ego lifting and all of that, I think that needs to be like put aside, out of your mind, especially on social media, and there's a lot of influence out there.
It's definitely something for future topics. Something I do want to talk to you about in future will be ego lifting over form. It's something for the viewers. Let us know in the comments below if you guys would like us to talk about that, because it's something I definitely want to talk about to you.
100%.
Because we see it
all day.
We actually do compare it to results. Sometimes we see people, you spoke about newbie gains, sometimes we see people with no gains, and we know why, but a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people will be looking at something, but they don't know that is incorrect form, so it's definitely for a future topic with that. But what I also, my point was, what I've picked up from what you said, just coming back to the question, is so basically the simple steps that people can follow is how does one start their own fitness journey is number one, the mindset. I want this.
You want this, yeah.
Number two, show up.
Yeah.
You need to show up.
You have to show up.
That treadmill or that dumbbell is not going to run itself. It's not going to pick up itself.
Yeah, exactly.
So show up. Number three, find a routine. When you're starting out, you have to try it all. You've tried it all. I've tried it all. We found something that's worked for us. But the moral of that story is try everything. Because when you're starting out, you're not going to know immediately what's right for you. Everyone's body is different. Everyone's passion is different. And then number four is nutrition. I can put nutrition before routine, but nutrition is important. It assists with your gains. So that's what I want to just do, is just focus on the basics. Like I said, I think the focus today is how does a newbie or just somebody that doesn't have that sports background like you and I, just walking into the gym, overwhelmed, how do they start? And I think those are some of the steps.
I think also like that feeling of overwhelmed, and especially stepping into the weight room, is that you feel that overwhelming sense of, oh my word, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here.
And you see it on people's faces
all the time. And that's why, as a coach, and I say to my clients and my future clients, I always say, invest in your training journey.
Yes.
Right? It's all very well to get a membership, right? You got a membership, now you have access to equipment.
But what do I do?
What do you do? Exactly. So something like investing in a month, 2 months worth of coaching, get you all the way up to scratch and your form down to a T, obviously prescribing with the best coach that knows how to, correct your form. Having that down, you can go then away and then start knowing that you know exactly what you're doing, instead of having to go in and be like, oh my word, I don't know what I'm doing today.
Yes.
I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to squat. I don't know how to bench.
So have a plan.
And
a plan, like you said, starting is find a coach.
I think it's the best thing. Obviously, it's a big investment from the beginning, but it pays off in the long run. because once you have that foundation, you can just build on it.
100%.
Just to give you that initial confidence. I think that's so important.
Because that will also help you find that interest. Like you see the specialist coach, like you, for example, you are a specialist coach.
Yeah.
And I think the only way to find that passion in something is also, like you said, start with a coach. There could be a coach that specializes in strength and conditioning. Maybe you find a passion in CrossFit. Now you've got a coach who specializes in that sort of coaching, but you won't know unless you invest.
100%.
So I think that's where we start. And also, guys, for me, what's also very important, and I think this, I can't I can't emphasize this enough, is do not care about the age of your coach. I'll use a perfect example. I'm 29 now. I've known this guy for about 4 or 5 years. He's Gideon, tell him how old are you now? You're 20?
20. It's going to be 24. Whenever this comes out, I'm going to be 24 on 24th of March. So
yes. So basically, let's say he's 20. He's 24. He's been coaching me since he was 20. I mean, if we do the math, since he was 20, I was 26, 25. Usually, when people see that, people are like, no, this guy can't coach me. He's younger than me. What does he know?
Exactly, yeah.
I don't think I've ever had this conversation with you about your age or anything like that. Saw the passion. I saw somebody that knows what he's doing. I went with it, trusting you. And this is what I've learned, and what experience that I can give to you guys at home is, do not look at someone's CV as a personal trainer on how old they are. Because I feel like it doesn't matter what age a personal trainer is. You go according to their experience, their passion. Number one, let's start at passion. If I see, like Gideon, for example, one of the things that inspired me about you, about being coached by you, was your passion. Just you emphasizing things about, no, this is how you do it, and going into detail. That made me like, oh, shit, sorry for my language, but I want to do that. So it starts at passion. So now you've got a personal trainer that is just, he's giving it his all with you. You want to continue with him. And I've personally seen personal trainers who just stand there and just like, no, do that. Do that. I myself would not want to continue with this guy, because he's actually sucking the life out instead of like sort of drawing the energy and boosting the energy. So I think that's important, is find that personal trainer with a background. See what, try
vet
to
them.
Yes.
And vet them.
It's like an interview. You're investing your money, so so you push, you ask those questions, you sort of like you said, vet them till you've actually gained enough from that interview. Let's call it an interview. So I think you do not stress about age, because I feel like that sort of mentality of, oh, he's young, what does he know, that we need to push that aside, because from this 20-year-old, at the time, I've learned an insane amount of training that I can coach whoever, and I'll know what I'm talking about, and that's coming from a 20-year-old. So guys, age means nothing when it comes to experience and passion. So you've actually given me the fundamentals there of how one can start their fitness journey, and why it was important for us to talk about the sports, like starting at a sports background to no background, is important, because people watching this at home is going to look at this and be like, oh no, but Gideon and Jody started with sports. What about me? I didn't start with anything.
Yeah.
But you've given them sort of a background of how to start.
Yeah.
And it's important for those, I don't want there to be like that class of, no, they already have that sort of start. No, you can start no matter what.
Anyone can
start.
It really is. It doesn't matter if you haven't played any form of sport in your entire life, and something you want to start your fitness journey, it will not affect it, I promise. You just have to make sure that you have these things in place so that you can make sure that your fitness journey starts well, because the worst part is to dive head first and then, God forbid, get injured, or something terrible goes wrong, and then it throws off your fitness journey completely before you've even begun. So that's why I say a coach, or sourcing online coaching, anything, because when you're starting, it's not going to be your profession. It's not going to be something you're going to be proficient in.
No.
Right? And people tend to not want to accept that they're not going to know what they're really doing.
Of course.
People tend to be like, yo, it's fine, I don't need your help, I know what I'm doing. When in real fact, you don't know what you're really doing, and you probably going to get injured.
But you're scared because
Exactly.
it's like I said, it comes back to ego.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
people don't want to admit that they struggle with things.
Yes.
So that's why, and it's always intimidating. I've found in the past that people tend to always feel so intimidated to come forward and say like, listen, I need help. Like, I
what
need help.
advice do you have for those
What
people?
advice do you have? I mean, and then on the other flip side, we have people that will come to me out of nowhere. Like, I've never seen them in my entire
Yes.
life. They'll come and ask
So
me.
can you help? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's two different
There's
types
two
of people.
different sides. It's just making sure the biggest thing is that you obviously you get the idea. I want to start my fitness journey. You start it. You don't just leave it at the idea. You actually start it. You take action.
Okay.
And the first step should always be seeking some form of help or guidance to begin that fitness journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've tackled now seek a personal trainer or coach.
Yeah.
What about seeking advice in the gym? Say you're a random person, I see you doing something, I don't know what you're doing, whether it's right or wrong, but there's a part of me that wants to ask you something, and then there's a part that's holding back. So for that person that wants to ask you something but doesn't, what advice do you have for that person?
The gym is a community though, so it is a community of like-minded people, or we like to believe. So, but it also can be a treacherous place where you could get, you know, we won't dive into the nitty-gritties of it, but like
we've experienced both.
It's like we have people that are knowledgeable and know what they're talking about, but then we have people that don't know what they're talking about. But the person seeking that help doesn't know anything, so they're going to believe it at face value.
Yes.
So that can be a problem within itself. But I do feel like, you know, something like let's use an example of Virgin Active, right? Like there are floor staff, people that work on the floor and that are there to be like, okay, listen, I just need some help. Like, can you assist me with this movement? And I have seen that before. So which is good.
Good, yes.
So it's not that doesn't exist. It's just if you want to know that you're gonna get the structured programming and the structured advice, seeking a professional that can help you in that is always the number one. But again, as you say, your point is valid. Like there are people in the gym community or just in the gym that are willing to help.
Yes.
You know.
So just don't be afraid to ask. You won't know unless you ask.
Exactly.
Simple.
Exactly.
So Gideon, thanks for that. We basically touched on introduction of training.
Thank you. Yeah.
If you guys would like to, it's been great. I mean, I think I feel personally, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I need to bring my mentor on this show over and over again, because we can talk about everything, and I think that is the point of this. We, like we mentioned, in our fitness community, so I think let's make a fitness community out of this about talking fit. So if there's anything that you guys would like to know or to find out about from Gideon, comment below. If there's topics that you guys feel that's on top of your head that you just don't have that much knowledge about, comment below, and we could actually chat about it in future episodes. So guys, until then, hit that like, subscribe button, and then don't forget to comment below. Hit that bell. I think that bell is very important. If you guys want to stay updated with content, if you want to see that, there's a video of Gideon, there's an episode 2, there's episode 3, hit that bell so that you can be the first to get that notification on when it comes out. So until then guys, peace.